Hey guys, welcome to Surf Show and Tell. I'm Noel Salas, and today's surfboard review is the Black and White by Channel Islands. This is a signature model by Dane Reynolds, and it's a standard shortboard. I'm excited to talk about this board. I actually have two of them. They're the exact same boards in PU, and I really enjoyed surfing this board. And this is 5'9" by 18 7/8 by 2 1/4. The volume is 26.8, and I'm 5'9" and 170 pounds. So let's have a look at the concave and the rocker on this board. It's running a pretty aggressive single concave all the way through the fins with a light V out the tail. And then we have a low entry rocker. We have a staged rocker here, and then we have an aggressive tail rocker. Now with the low entry rocker, I love this for where my home break is. And with you having multiple options for standard shortboards, I think it's important to always look at buying a board for where you surf at your home break, right? So low entry rocker for me, I know for sure it's gonna give me maximum speed down the line, and it's gonna actually maximize my paddle power. And then with the aggressive tail rocker, I love that because when the waves get a little bit bigger, so I don't pull out a standard shortboard unless it's 3 to 5 foot and bigger. So I'll want that tail rocker so I can do, really tight turns in the pocket, doing cutbacks, or if I'm doing turns right in the hook, it's really important to have that aggressive tail rocker. So for me, the Black and White really fits the description of where I surf. So let's check out the outline on this board, but we're gonna start with the deck. This board has a flat deck because Dane likes a flat deck. And when we have a flat deck, what ends up happening is they're taking the volume and they're carrying it all the way out to the rails. So you can order this board 1/8 of an inch thinner than your normal board. So if my normal board's 2 3/8, that's why this is 2 1/4. And when I hold it in my hand, it feels like 2 3/8, not like a thin 2 1/4. So I really like that. The other thing too is if we look at the outline on a standard shortboard, what I like about this one is a lot of the times the standard shortboards have such a pulled in nose. Like, for me, the DFR looked like it was really narrow. And I really like, or even like my Rook 15 has a really narrow nose. And this one, for where I surf, it's not really super hollow. So I don't need a super pulled in nose, and I don't need a lot of rocker, right? Entry rocker. So I really like that. It suited me perfect there. And then on the tail, it's got the classic Merrick hipper bump, and it's not a really narrow tail, and it's not a wide tail. So again, it's just hitting the mark for where I surf. So this board felt really good down the line. It felt really good in my turns. I really like the board. The other thing too, I think is really important about picking a standard shortboard is you don't just pick a board for what Dane rides or what I ride or whatever. You pick a board for what fits your home break, right? And this board was designed for point breaks. And a lot of the times the point breaks for where I surf, they don't get really super hollow. And so I don't want a ton of nose rocker. I don't need a ton of nose rocker, but I do want an aggressive tail rocker. So this board kind of fits all my checkpoints for where my home break is. So if I'm going on a trip, maybe like to Indo or Bali or even Hawaii, I'd probably go after like a Rook 15, right? Because it's got the rocker that I need. But if I'm surfing more point breaks and it's not super hollow, then the Black and White's great. Now the comparison between the Black and White and the Peregrine, let's talk about that for a second, because they both have low entry rocker, but you'll find the difference is the Black and White's gonna have a more aggressive tail rocker, and it's gonna have a bit curvier outline. So those are the main reasons why I like this board, because it suits where I surf at home. So let's go into the fins that I chose and what I think works best in the Black and White in both chest high to double overhead, right? So right here, I've tested all kinds of different fins. That's what I always do. I like to try multiple fin sets. But this is the new Alpha by Futures. And I really like this fin when it was like, chest high to maybe a little overhead. The flex on this is a 6.5. And I'm looking for that spring in and out of turns. And I thought that this fin felt the most stable, but also had good flex. They're also super light. So that's what we're always looking for, is we're looking for a fin that's got good flex and lots of spring, and then we want it to be light and keep the board light, especially when the waves are a bit smaller. And this is the F8, so this is the large. And I chose a large fin in the black and white when the waves were chest high to about head high. The other fin that I chose also was the RTM Tech 1, and this is a 4.5, so when the waves got a little bit more steep, I really like this fin. This is the large fin, which has the foam core, and this is also a very consistent fin, and I feel like you can put as much pressure as you want on it, and you'll still get a solid, consistent turn with maximum drive, right? So this is a great fin here. So when the waves got a bit overhead, I went with this RTM Tech 2 fin because it falls about 2.5 in the ride number, and what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to control and harness the speed and have some consistency in my turns, and I also want the board to feel like it's not going to slide out under my feet. So this fin is actually the fin that I rode most on this board because we had some good swells. So these are the fins I rode, and that's what I chose. So Britt, with the stuff that you're riding with the black and white and the variation of waves sizes, are you switching fins much? What are you doing with fins on that black and white?
So we found that for the black and white, a little smaller fin works better. I'm 6'6", 205 pounds, maybe 210, I don't know. So I would generally ride a large fin. I've been riding more like a medium fin, just slightly larger than a medium, less base width, a little lower, and a little more raked back. And so it's a more neutral fin. Less surface area equals less lift. So these boards that we're making have a lot of lift, so I don't want my fins to have too much lift. So we found that a little smaller fin on the black and white, perhaps a little more rake, and playing with the flex will help it just settle down in a turn. So now you have the best of both worlds. You have that really fast down the line, alive feel, but then vroom, really solid when you put it on rail and you push on the tail. And that's been largely a function of fins.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed the review on the black and white. You got some good insight from Britt on fins and what it feels like under his feet. This board felt great under my feet, and I'm pretty excited about this board, the black and white, staying in my quiver. So if you guys like the show, subscribe, and you can also follow me on Instagram under Surf Show and Tell. Well, that's it for today. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Somewhere in your hair, on my shirts, the shoulders stained with your tears. It's not like I would be leaving, so don't give me those eyes. Sometimes you got to move on. As time flies by, we're left behind without a sign to lead back from where we came. The days never end, there is no rest. The sun never sets except on you and me. All of last year's memories inside picture frames. If only frames could freeze time, keep it that way, we could stay. If not right now, then it's never. Don't look at me that way. Sometimes life just goes on. As time flies by, we're left behind without a sign to lead back from where we came. The days never
been surfing a little bit. How's it feeling to your feet?
It's been working really good. I've been having a ton of fun at Rincon on it. Again, riding it everywhere from, you know, chest high to double overhead. And it just feels fast. I'm never lacking for speed, but turns right where you want it to turn. So that's a good combo. It's hard to get, right? Those are the juxtaposed to one another. Everybody says I want a board that's fast and loose. I want a board that's strong and light.
Right.
But this is a pretty good effort on fast and loose.
Awesome.